In elections that year, 1995, the United Workers' Party won a narrow victory and its leader, Edison James, formed a new government. Then, in September of 1995, Hurricane Lewis, another hurricane, and it even have the chair or the hat to have my last name, Hurricane Lewis destroyed nearly all of the island's banana plantations. The crisis in the banana industry in the ensuing 5 years hurt the James administration's popularity, and in January 2000, the Dominica Labour Party would win 10 out of 21 seats in the House of Assembly, forming a coalition government with the Dominica Freedom Party, which won 2 seats. Now, let's briefly talk about bananas and the Dominica's economy at that time, and the impact of Hurricane Lewis. Dominica's economic dependence on bananas made it politically vulnerable both before and after its independence.
Or less than $2 for a 35-pound bunch. He may have to tote them 2 miles through a rainforest before coming to a road, where likely as not he must pay someone else to truck them to market. Dominica is an associate state, soon to be independent from Britain. What she is in reality is a banana republic.
The adoption of the commodity generated economic growth and spending power, but also left the country exposed. The protection of banana production from a free market by British government policies and EU banana policy further exacerbated the vulnerability. Despite this, Dominica and other banana-producing Eastern Caribbean islands have never been able to compete in a global free market. In the 1990s, Dominica's economy suffered due to the declining banana production and exports. The lack of investment in infrastructure limited manufacturing to only one firm producing soap and dental cream, and tourism development was hindered by the absence of white sandy beaches and an international airport. Now, my question here is, do you think Dominica's economy is still being hindered by the lack of white sandy beaches and the lack of an international airport? Let me know in the comments. Nonetheless, hurricanes and tropical storms further damaged Dominica's agricultural sector, causing real GDP growth in 1999 to drop by 1.6%. As a result of the decline of the banana industry, James's administration led an ambitious economic diversification agenda. It enacted laws for the establishment of offshore companies. Furthermore, it aimed to let an Australian mining corporation carry out exploratory drilling on the island. However, that decision was later rescinded because of concerns that it would damage the island's status as the Nature Isle of the Caribbean. The United Workers' government's decision to sell its stake in the island's sole electricity provider was also sharply criticized by the opposition. The government's decision to provide sanctuary to Saudi descendant Mohammed al-Masari incited outrage among the opposition as well. James subsequently acknowledged that that decision was motivated by the prospect of receiving more British help. The information that Australian wanted man Christopher Skase had utilized the procedure, or the Citizenship By Investment Program, to become an island citizen fueled even more outrage. The UWP administration attempted to construct an international airport in an attempt to attract more overnight guests to the island. But this too was also greeted with strong opposition, since some believed that the nation would not be able to repay the debt that would have been needed to take on this kind of project. The government, however, purchased the requisite lands for the airport, but did not have time to physically begin the project. The James-led government was dogged by charges of corruption, and these allegations only increased as its term progressed. James's government did produce, however, some very significant achievements while it was in charge of running Dominica. There was a proliferation in the number of scholarships available for secondary and college education. There was some success in diversifying the island's monocrop agricultural sector away from bananas and towards other crops. It also increased public spending on capital projects, including roads, schools, and seawalls. These projects had a visible impact on the economy. This sort of economic program was branded Tupatuism. I like the sound of that name. Tupatuism. A Creole word meaning everywhere. However, the opposition argued that the growing economy was only being financed by constant debt. Do you think that's true? Let me know in the comments. Feeling confident with his government's achievements, James called a snap election 6 months before it was due in order to quell the allegations of corruption. Unfortunately, the Honorable Edison James lost the 2000 election to the Honorable Roosevelt Douglas